In this video, we'll have a look at the Reference Manager. This is where all of your color targets are stored and managed. It requires particular access level to be able to get into this module and make changes. Upon entering the Reference Manager, I see the color libraries that I have imported into my system. These may have come in from the import of electronic file or via measurement from an attached spectrophotometer. Let me demonstrate how we create a new color reference book and measure colors into it. We start by pressing the New button in the lower right-hand corner. We then give this color book a name. So I've named this one Dan's Color Book, and I'm going to go ahead and press OK. The color book is now waiting to receive my measurements. So from this screen, I can take a measurement with my attached spectro and bring my colors in. Now you'll see you can do this for multiple colors at a time, and you can always come back to fill in their color name information later. So if I want to do that for these colors, I click on the first color I measured. I can confirm that it was a solid patch as opposed to a dot gain screen, a gray balance, a substrate, a gray balance highlight, midtone, and shadow, an overprinted color, or a different type of patch. I can also identify if this was a spot color or a process color. If the process color is one of CM, Y, or K, you can set that individually. If the process color is one of extended gamut, such as orange, green, blue, violet, you can just specify that one as a process color here without a letter next to it. The difference between this has to do with how the colors are scored. Process colors compared to spot colors can be scored tighter or looser in your tolerance set based upon what your aim points are for those colors. I'm going to leave this one on spot. Next, I'll go down and I'll give it a name. So once I've named this color, I hit confirm, and I can see that in the name field. Below that, I see the illuminant and observer that my instrument was set to when I made the measurement, and the calculated LAB values. Now there is a complete spectral curve behind this color, which is why I see some small text down here that says the LAB values are calculated from the spectral curve using the selected illuminant and observer. You'll notice that if I change the illuminant, those LAB values change with it. So I can change between any of the illuminants I require because my measurement has that spectral curve. In the event that you do not have a spectral curve, you can only use those LAB values for the particular illuminant and observer angle supplied. Should you need to clear a spectrum, you can press that button right here that says Clear Spectrum, and the curve will be deleted. At the bottom, we see the density and the density channel that will be used to measure this color. You can modify these as needed. Additionally, there is a tolerance override field where you can say that this color should be toleranced tighter or looser depending on the customer's particular need. Right now it says that tolerance will be job defined, meaning this color will inherit its tolerance from whatever the job settings are, but you can override these if I want to hold this color, say, to a 1 delta E limit. Finally, at the bottom of each color, we have fields called Extra Info 1 and 2, which you can use for recording additional pieces of information. In your case, Extra Info 1 will be supplied by your automatic job setup to specify which analogs will be used for this particular color. Extra Info 2 will likely be used to talk about the ink recipe and formulation and any changes that have been made on it. So now let me quickly go through my other colors and name them and save my color book. So this one I've named light purple. Name this one green. And lastly, gray. Once that's complete, I can press the Save button and that color book will be saved on the system. A couple things you can do. You can move colors around between books by using the Copy and Paste button down at the bottom. If I wish to move this green to a different color book, I simply click on it, say copy, close this color book, open my destination color book, and hit paste. So now I've copied that color from one library to another. Now should I want to remove it from this one, I could use cut instead. It asks me if I'm sure I want to delete it. I say yes, close the color book, and I'm prompted to save, which I'll select yes. Let's take a look at a larger color book. This particular one has many different colors in it, approximately 1,700, and I'm not sure which I need. Anytime you're in this particular screen, you can find by measurement by using this button at the top. By clicking Find by Measurement, I can choose my measurement conditions. In this case, I want to compare against D52 degree, and I can also specify my delta E method to be used to judge my distance from what I measure to the targets that are in this book. I'm going to set my delta E method to CIE 2000. I'll now take a measurement and see that the closest match I received was 2728 with a 1.84 delta E difference and a delta L, C, and H values as displayed over here. Now if that was not the right color, I can look further down the list to see the measurements that were close but continuously went higher in delta E color difference away from what I measured. If I want to then find the color that I measured, I simply select it and press OK, and then I'm brought to that color in the color book. Color books can also be imported and exported. If I press the Import button in the lower left, I can specify a file. MeasureColor supports comma-separated values that are generated by MeasureColor or via Excel, the Color Exchange CXF format, ICC profiles, Xwrite MIF files, ANSI CGATs, or all files for other types. Once you identify the file you want to import, simply press Open and follow the prompts to import that color book. Once complete, you'll see the colors in that library exist as a new color book here in this list. If you need to share a color library, you can click on it and say Export. So now it's going to ask me where I want to save it, and I can choose what format I wish to save it in. If you need to find a color but you're not sure which color book it resides, you can find by measurement across your whole library. In this case, I'm going to say Search In, go all the way to the top, and say All References. Again, it chooses my closest match. In this case, it's again 2728. But I can see that that exists in multiple different libraries, so I want to pick the appropriate one. It's important to use caution when working in the Reference Manager because everything in this is a shared system. Any changes you make, colors you remove or modify, will instantly affect anyone that tries to use them in the future. So it's always best to ensure backups are made and that care is taken in any changes or deletions that you make and how they may affect other users of the system, which is why this module is protected by particular people who have access to it, given their admin access rights.